Kundalini, I've got to get that right, yoga teacher and transformational coach. Throughout Jane's career, she's embraced the challenges that life presents her, believing that every day is an opportunity to learn and to grow. And having had her own struggles of negative self-talk, she's dedicated herself, and I know truly dedicated herself, to helping people through her own personal story. So welcome to the stage, Jane.
Thank you very much, and thanks, Ruth, that was really good. And I think I'm probably going to echo a lot of what Ruth said, really. We've all got our own stories, and I'm sure every single person in this room has got a story that they could share with somebody and maybe help someone. So, skin is my passion, my business and wellness, and I love nothing more than helping people feel good about themselves, because let's face it, we spend too much of our lives beating ourselves up, being negative. You know, it's not right. For some reason we get into these really, really bad habits. So when I was in my teens, I developed an eating disorder, bulimia. Now, it was my way of coping, I think, with sort of the trauma that was going on in my mind, that limiting beliefs, the stories that I told myself. Are they true or are they stories? They were stories. But I, for some reason, thought unless I looked a certain way, I wasn't going to be right. So, I went and studied beauty therapy when I was 19. And still, with bulimia, it's not something you do every single day of your life. It's something that something would happen, you know, a trauma, a breakup of a relationship, or something, whatever it was. And that would be my thing that I'd go to. You know, an alcoholic goes to the bottle, I would go to my eating disorder. So I went off to Bermuda when I was 22, and I was most grateful because in Bermuda it's a very spiritual place in lots of ways, and I obviously shared a few things about what was going on in my life, and some of my clients introduced me to Deepak Chopra at the time. And there was a book that he had written, it's called Creating Perfect Health. And it was about your mind and how your mind controls your body. So all the while I was giving my body all these negative views all the time and these negative thoughts, you know, my body was responding to that. So then I was feeling even more self-loathing, you know, guilt, you know, sort of disharmony, all of that, because you know, when you have an eating disorder, it's a really lonely road, and it's so important to share our stories, I think, because so many people go through it. They say 1.25 million people in the United Kingdom will go through an eating disorder, you know, and I think that's probably under. You know, I have women coming in my shop every single day saying really negative things about themselves, and I have to keep saying to them, you know, stop. So I went to Bermuda, I was having this wonderful experience, and I realised that what I needed in my life, in order to have everything that I wanted, was inner peace. I needed to find that inner peace somehow. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to try lots of different things. So I did transcendental meditation, and I was doing that every single day. I went to lots of different courses and different things. I just thought, yes, I need to find this inner peace. Reading all the books, you know, I watched the most incredible speakers, buy all their books. I read so many self-help books, you know, books that when I returned to England, like 7 years later, people were just reading. I was like, oh yeah, I read that years ago. And so I was really grateful for that. So I went to see my doctor when I was probably about 28 in Bermuda. And I told her my story. It was one of my clients actually prompted me to go and speak to my doctor, because we shared the same doctor. And back then they prescribed Prozac for people with bulimia. So Prozac and psychotherapy. So I got my prescription, I got my appointment with my psychotherapist, and back then, you know, I had to pay for everything, and I didn't really have the money. But I had an amazing psychotherapist. And she did swaps for me. So I gave her facials and massage, and she would give me an hour of psychotherapy. So I'm now on Prozac, I'm having my psychotherapy. I left Bermuda at 29 with my boyfriend at the time. He came back to England. So then you're knocked a bit off kilter, because now back in England, you feel a bit unhinged, like, where do you belong, where do you belong? So I ended up getting married. That's a really good thing to do when you're on Prozac, and you get married. And you're in your 30s, so you're going through all sorts of life's ups and downs, I haven't got any children, do I want children, like so many things. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Who am I? You're going through all this, and you get married. And every 6 months we moved everywhere, so I was in and out, and in and out of it, and in and out of it. I'm now living in Brighton, car crash central basically. It's like, if you're on Prozac, and you're sort of feeling like I was feeling, then I started going out, drinking more, getting involved in drugs, like doing everything really, even more self-punishment. My marriage failed, my husband went back to Bermuda, I stayed, I then felt even more self-sabotage. I'm useless, my marriage failed, and it goes on and on and on. So, fast forward, I was in 5 years in Brighton, and to one of the catchphrase, I rang my dad and said, get me out of here. It's like, I need to leave Brighton. If I don't leave Brighton now, God knows what's going to happen to me. So my father was living in Egypt at the time, and my mum said, why didn't you go and stay with your dad in Egypt for a bit? I thought, yeah, that's a really good idea. So off I went to Egypt, and I made a decision that when I left Egypt, I was not going to be on Prozac. So I did that, I came back. I moved back home to Chichester with my mum, and I thought, right, okay, I now have a really clear understanding of bulimia, of why I do it, but I still was having these negative thoughts. I need to work on my subconscious layers. Where does this all come from? Where is all this stuff rooted from? So I started going to a healer, and she was medical background, but I went pretty much every month for 13 years. I never stopped. And I think that's the thing, if you've got any form of addiction or self-doubt, negative beliefs, you've got to put the work in. You really have, don't stop, find something else. If it doesn't work, or you don't like that person, try something different. So, as I said, but I still was having the negative beliefs. So I wasn't bulimic anymore, I wasn't doing any of that, but I still would say things like, oh, I put on weight really easily. And I discovered a guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I thought, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to break the habit. I've had too many years of my life creating that habit. I've got to break it. So I bought the book. In 2019, I went to his course, his workshop up in Edinburgh. And he was talking about the stories he'll tell us. Are they true, or is it just a story? And I thought, yeah, what's my story? Yeah, my story is you put on weight really easily. Change that. What can I say? I don't put on weight easily. No, that's not good enough. Say something like, okay, my weight maintains exactly the same equilibrium because I eat the food that nourishes me. Because what I was doing with food, if I was upset about something, although I wasn't bulimic, I still had that as my go-to. So if somebody's upset you or something's not quite right, you grab a glass of wine or I go and eat something. And then you're like, okay, so I still have got that negative sort of relationship with food and my emotions. So then I went and did another course, Neuro Change Solutions in Brighton. And again, that's all to do with Dr. Joe's work. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. So I had to rewire my brain. And you rewire it by, it's as simple as this, stop. Every time I had that thought, stop. Stop it. Say something different. Relearn, rejig it. And I'm glad I got a microphone, so I've got a song. So I said to a good friend of mine over there, I need to reword how I'm talking to myself. And rather than feeling, have I put on any weight since the last time I felt? Is my face any fatter than the last time I looked? Which is how it gets. You obsessively keep looking, I've eaten that. How am I feeling? And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So I was constantly feeling like I needed to lose 4 pounds. So I changed my whole thing. For every time I went to squeeze myself, I changed it to I love my body, I love my face, I love my jawline, I love my waist. And I sung a little song this morning. I love my body, I love my face, I love my jawline, I love my waist. You know, make it a bit fun. Make it, you know, change it. Stop those nerve cells firing together and wiring together, rewire them. And I now teach Kundalini yoga because I do feel we have to go within. We've got to really listen to ourselves. It's busy out there, isn't it? It's non-stop. So we need a practice of sorts where we can disconnect from the, you know, the maddening world, the busy world, our negative thoughts, and just start to learn to rewire our brain. And that's why I'm so passionate about people coming in. You know, I had a lady on the couch yesterday, and she goes, "Oh no, I'm really awful." And I said, "Stop. You know, stop that. You know, why'd you say that? Like, you're not awful." But we're so used to being like that and being like that about ourselves and being critical. You know, would we speak to other people like that? Would you tell your best friend you're awful? No, of course you wouldn't. We just don't do it, do we? So, yeah, as I said, fast forward, I'm now trained to be a transformational coach. Not necessarily because I want to necessarily be a coach, but it's really handy with what I do as a job to help coach people, encourage them to love themselves and start feeling better. So, yeah, as I said, I just wanted to share my story and my journey because I have come out the other side. Every day is a school day. And I just think it's really important to talk about these things and share. So thank you so much for listening. I'm over there if anybody wants to come and talk to me, because I'm sure a lot of people in here may have had an eating disorder or know somebody with one. So I just think it's really important to talk about it, get it out in the open. So, and if anyone's got any questions now, you're more than welcome to ask, but if not, I'll be over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. So much